Okay, next topic we're going to talk about is returns and exchanges on Amazon for clothing and fashion brands. So while the average return rate varies from category to category, the highest is among electronics and apparel, where it can reach up to 40%. You must you must experience this as we experience this. Lots of returns, right? Um, and there's many reasons as to why there's returns on Amazon, right? Number one, customers aren't able to physically try on the product before purchasing, right? Which is human error is always possible, and there's always sizing and fitting issues, right? Especially through e-commerce because they can't physically try the product on, right? Another issue is wrong size charts. Maybe this your size chart can be right, but the customer just doesn't read it right properly, right? So human error is always a thing on Amazon. You have to think of the customer as a child. Make it as easy for them to understand and pick the right size, right? Because they'll Amazon will always be on their side for refunds and returns, right? And on the back end, it can be very frustrating to deal with so many returns. Um, Colors can also be an issue. The product might not be what they thought it would be, and quality. Okay, so what is the goal? The goal is to minimize returns, as Amazon will always favor the customer rather than the seller, and nobody wants to deal with repackaging and wasted inventory. Okay, so there are a few ways to combat this. Okay, number one, you must do your absolute best to showcase proper sizing, texture, and color through your images and A plus content. This is a perfect picture from a listing, right? In the on their A plus content. So they show the size of each small, medium, large, and then they do all the separate measurements from the back length, the bust to the sleeve length. They even showcase how to measure it, all the sorts of stuff, right? So we want to make it as easy for the customer to be fully confident in the purchase and the size that they're getting, right? And that's through providing all the measurements um, and how to measure it and this sort of stuff, right? Like this, how to measure. They say lay down the clothing on a flat surface, take the measurement as illustrated, and this and that. If we go like to this listing, this is one of the best listings. They have an entire size chart, right, with all the measurements from each separate size, and it makes it very easy for the customer to identify what's the best size for them, right? Um, Another thing is you want to apply the correct measurement for separate marketplaces. Let's say you're selling in Amazon UK and then Amazon US, right? Obviously, there's different sizes for each, so you have to account for each. Um, Usually, what we think is best is providing a universal chart, right? So, for example, the US size is two sizes smaller than the UK size for women, something like this, right? So, if you're selling on both marketplaces, make sure you're applying the correct measurement in your images and your A plus content as to the measurement sizes, or else obviously you're going to get a lot of returns, right? And if you get a lot of returns, you're going to get a lot of negative reviews, and your listing is just going to go bad. So what we think the best is you want to provide a universal chart which accounts for all measurements used in various countries. This is very easy if you just want to apply the same images to various marketplaces. Um, Something like this, right? So it shows the size in the US, the UK, Europe, the size, the length, the waist, right? Something like this can be used for all marketplaces. It makes it easier for customer to read it and just to understand what's best for them because obviously they know what their size is for their respective country and how they measure themselves. So this is a really good thing you can implement into your own listings. Um, Another thing that we think is of utmost importance for clothing on Amazon is you have to be really good at providing good customer support. So pretty much the better the customer service, the less likely you will receive refunds. The less likely you receive refunds, the less likely you receive negative reviews, which ends up hurting your sales, right? So you always want to provide solutions for customers, such as if they have a size issue, you can offer an exchange for the proper size. If it's the damaged clothes is dirty, you can offer to send another one free of cost, right? We always want to be the ultimate goal is to never let the customer leave a bad review, right? Because especially on clothing on Amazon, you can get lots of reviews really quickly because like look at this one, this view has 20,000, right? Because customers love to give good reviews for stuff for items that make them feel good. for clothes, especially like clothing. You try clothing on, it makes you look good, it makes you feel good. You take a picture of it, of the item, and you're very happy, right? But if you have a bad experience with it, they're more likely to leave a negative review. So you always want to be really good at customer service, right? So you want to provide all possible solutions before issuing a full refund, right? Everything, anything you can do in your power, try doing it because we want to maintain your listing rating and health. So what we recommend, especially if you are a big clothing brand with a large catalog on Amazon, have a VA or a virtual assistant or someone that's dedicated solely to customer service, right? Because especially the niche already has lots of returns coming in, and you always want to have someone that's ready to deal with and communicate with customers, right? So Amazon requires the sellers to respond within 24 hours. We like to respond within the first 10 hours because the longer you delay the response time, the longer they're going to issue that full refund and then they're going to leave a bad review, right? So we want to give as little time to the customer to reconsider their decisions and be displeased, right? So you always want to have someone on deck ready to respond and give refunds or any exchanges, stuff like that, right? For example, look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is one of the biggest fast food companies in the world, just in the US, right? And they're known for having the best customer service, right? For years and years and years and years, they've won awards just for customer service. And that helps build their brand, right? You always want to protect your brand on Amazon, right? Through good customer service and stuff like that.